Welcome to SurePass, where we share for you to learn and succeed. In this video, we will be discussing alternative circumstances. Alternative circumstances. Na-discuss na natin kung ano ang justifying, exempting, mitigating, at aggravating. Ngayon naman, i-discuss natin itong alternative circumstances. Ano nga ba itong alternative circumstances? Alternative circumstances are circumstances which must be taken into consideration as aggravating or mitigating according to the nature and effects of the crime. Ibig sabihin, ang mga ganitong sitwasyon ay maaaring magpababa o magpataas ng pananagutan ng akusado batay sa kung paano ito nakakaapekto sa paggawa ng krimen. May tatlong klase ng alternative circumstance. First, relationship. Second, intoxication. And third, degree of instruction and education. Let us discuss the first one, relationship. Ang ugnayan ng biktima at ng akusado ay maaaring magpababa o magpabigat ng parusa, depende sa sitwasyon at sa uri ng krimen. Sa anong relasyon ba applicable itong alternative circumstance na ito? In the alternative circumstance of relationship, the offender must either be the spouse, ascendant, descendant, legitimate, natural or adopted brother or sister, relative by affinity in the same degree of the offender. Ano nga ba itong affinity? Relationship by affinity refers to a relation by virtue of a legal bond such as marriage. Relatives by affinity, therefore, are those commonly referred to as in-laws or stepfather, stepmother, stepchild, and the like. Ang biyanan, manugang, bayaw mo, ay yan ang mga relatives mo by affinity. Pag ang nanay o tatay mo ay nag-asawa ulit, yung bagong asawa niya at anak ng bagong asawa niya ay relative mo by affinity. However, the law cannot be stretched to include persons attached by common law relationships. So kung hindi kasal, hindi po siya considered a relative by affinity. Kailan ang alternative circumstance na relationship ay exempting o kailan na yung relationship ng offender at victim ay magpapawalang sala sa offender. First, an accessory who is related to the principal within the relationship prescribed in Article 20, except if accessory falls within paragraph 1 of Article 19. Dito kapag ang accessory ay spouse, ascendant, descendant, legitimate, natural, and adopted brothers and sisters, or relatives by affinity within the same degree ng akusado, hindi siya criminally liable. Example, yung husband nakapatay. Ngayon si wife, para hindi makulong ang asawa niya, tinago niya ito. By virtue of Article 20, walang liability si wife. Ano naman ang exception sa rule na ito? Kung ang accessory, which is yung spouses, ascendants, descendants, legitimate, natural, and adopted brothers and sisters, or relatives by affinity within the same degrees ng akusado, ay nakinabang o kumita sa krimeng ginawa ng akusado, hindi po pasok itong exception na ito. Example, yung husband nagnakaw. Ang ginawa ng wife ay binenta yung mga ninakaw ng husband at ginamit nila yung pera later on. Itong wife hindi exempt from criminal liability kasi nakinabang siya sa krimen na ginawa ng husband. Second, spouses, ascendants, and descendants or relatives by affinity in the same line who committed the crime of theft, malicious mischief, or swindling or estafa, but there is civil liability. Dito naman, yung crime ay ginawa between magkamag-anak. Let's say si husband ay pinagnakawan ang kanyang mother-in-law. Si mother-in-law hindi pwedeng kasuhan ng criminal case yung husband ng anak niya dahil sa circumstance na ito. Pero pwede niyang singilin kung magkano o ano ang ninakaw niya. Hindi nga lang siya pwedeng kasuhan ng criminal. Kailan naman aggravating ang relationship o kailan tataas ang penalty dahil sa relasyon ng akusado sa biktima? First, in crimes against persons in cases where the offended party is a relative of a higher degree than the offender. Example, grandson kills his grandfather. Or when the offender and the offended party are relatives of the same level, as killing a brother-in-law, a half-brother, or adopted brother. Second, when the crime is serious physical injuries, even if the offended party is descendant of the offender, the relationship is aggravating. Third, when the crime is less serious physical injuries or slight physical injuries, if the offended party is a relative of higher degree than the offender. Fourth, when the crime is homicide or murder, if the victim of the crime is a relative of lower degree. Fifth, in crimes against chastity, relationship is always aggravating. 6. In the crime of rape. Example, yung father ni-rape ang anak. Kailan naman mitigating ang relationship o ibababa ang penalty dahil sa relasyon ng offender sa victim? If the crime is not serious or involves a legitimate act of discipline, that is, slight physical injuries inflicted by a parent to a child. Dito, may karapatan ang magulang na disiplinahin anak, pero kapag nasobrahan na ang parusa at nagresulta ito sa malubhang sakit, hindi na ito matatawag na lehitimong disiplina, kundi isang krimen ng pananakit o physical injuries. Pero dahil hindi naman intensyon talaga sakta ng bata, sa pag-aakala nilidisiplina lang ito, pwedeng i-consider yung relationship ng magulang sa anak as mitigating. Now, let us discuss the second alternative circumstance, which is intoxication. Drunkenness or intoxication is a modifying circumstance which may either aggravate or mitigate the crime. Kailan mitigating ang intoxication? To consider it as mitigating, the accused pleading intoxication must present proof that, first, at the time he committed the crime, he has taken such quantity of alcoholic beverage sufficient to blur his reason and deprive him of a certain degree of control. Dahil sa sobrang pag-inom ng alak, nawala o humina ang kakayahan niyang mag-isip ng malinaw at kumilos ng maayos, kaya nakaapekto ito sa kanyang kilos sa oras ng krimen. And second, such intoxication was not habitual or was not intended to fortify his resolve to commit the crime. Ang kanyang pagkalasing ay hindi palagian o hindi sinadya upang palakasin ang loob niya na gumawa ng krimen. Pag mayroon niyang dalawang yan, mitigating ang intoxication. Gaano ba kadami dapat yung alak na mainom niya? Hindi ang dami ng alak ang tinitignan, kundi ang epekto ng alak sa gumawa ng krimen. Para maituring na mitigating circumstance o nakakapagpababa ng pananagutan ang pagkalasing, dapat ay umabot ito sa antas na nakaapekto na sa kanyang pag-iisip o kakayahang magpasya ng maayos. Sa madaling sabi, hindi sapat na lasing lang siya. Kailangan na ang kalasingan ay talagang nakaapekto sa kanyang isip at kontrol sa sarili noong ginawa niya ang krimen. Kailan naman aggravating ang intoxication? First, if intoxication is habitual. Ibig sabihin, sanay o madalas siyang uminom ng alak hanggang sa malasing. Dahil nakasanayan na niya ito, hindi na maaaring gamitin bilang dahilan o paliwanag para mabawasan ang pananagutan niya sa krimen. Second, if it is intentional to embolden offender to commit crime. Kung sinadya ang pag-inom para palakasin ang loob sa paggawa ng krimen, ibig sabihin uminom siya ng may layuning magkalakas ng loob o mawalan ng takot para magawa ang krimen. Sa ganitong kaso, hindi rin ito maituturing na nakakabawas ng pananagutan, kundi nakakapagpabigat pa dahil planado ang pag-inom upang tulungan siyang gumawa ng masama. Sino ngayon ang may responsibilidad ipakita o i-prove ang intoxication? It is the prosecution's burden to prove that intoxication is habitual or intentional in order for the alternative circumstance to be considered aggravating. si prosecutor kung gustong aggravating yung intoxication. The defense, on the other hand, has the burden to prove as a result of intoxication, his willpower had been impaired such that he did not know what he was doing, for intoxication to be considered mitigating. Si defense o si accused naman kung gustong i-prove na mitigating. Paano kung parehas silang hindi na-prove ang intoxication? Ano ang effect? If both the prosecution and defense failed to prove their sides, the circumstance of intoxication is neither aggravating nor mitigating. Now let us discuss the third alternative circumstance, degree of instruction and education. It refers to the lack of sufficient intelligence and knowledge of the full significance of one's act. The degree of instruction must have some reasonable connection to the offense to be considered mitigating. Ito ay tumutukoy sa kakulangan ng sapat na talino o kaalaman upang lubos na maunawaan ang kahulugan o bigat ng krimeng ginawa. Hindi sapat na mababa lang ang pinag-aralan. Dapat ang kakulangan ng kaalaman ang mismong dahilan kung bakit hindi niya lubos na maunawaan ang kanyang ginawa. So, kailan mitigating ang lack or low degree of instruction and education? As a general rule, illiteracy is generally mitigating in all crimes. Ano naman ang exceptions or kailan hindi mitigating pero hindi rin aggravating ang lack or low degree of instructions and education? Lack or low degree of instruction and education is not mitigating in: first, crimes against property. Example nito ay malicious mischief, usurpation, robbery, theft. No one, however unschooled he may be, is so ignorant as to know that theft or robbery or assault upon the person of another is inherently wrong and a violation of the law. Kahit wala kang pinag-aralan, naturally dapat alam mong ang pagnanakaw ay masama. Second, crimes against chastity. Hindi mo kailangang maging edukado to know na pakikiapit sa may asawa na ay masama o ang kalasoang gawa ay masama. Hindi kailangan ituro yan sa'yo. Third, murder or homicide. Fourth, rape. No one is so ignorant as to know that the crime of rape is wrong and in violation of the law. Fifth, treason. Hindi kailangang maging edukado o matalino ang isang tao para malaman na mali at labag sa batas ang pumatay ng kapwa, kahit pa may nagawang masama sa kanya ang biktima. Sa madaling sabi, ang simpleng tao ay may likas na pagkaunawa sa tama at mali, kaya hindi magpapawalang sala o mababawasan ang kasalanan ng isang tao sa dahilan lamang na siya ay walang pinag-aralan. Kailan naman aggravating ang high degree of instruction and education? The high degree of instruction or education aggravates the crime when the offender avails himself of his learning to commit the crime. Kapag inalinlangan o nilinlang niya ang batas o ang biktima gamit ang kanyang edukasyon o katalinuhan, ipinapakita nito na mas mataas na antas ng kasamaan o panlilinlang, kaya mas mabigat ang pananagutan niyang krimen. Halimbawa, isang abogado na gumamit ng kanyang kaalaman sa batas upang dayain ang iba, o isang doktor na sinasadyang saktan o patayin ang pasyente gamit ang kanyang kaalaman sa medisina. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to share it and to subscribe.